Today is Wednesday, the 18th of June, and I want to talk about the impact of the Israel-Iran war. This week, what Israel did to Iran is forever going to change our world because diplomacy is dead. Agreements are dead. There's no international law anymore. Countries can do whatever they want to do, even when it's illegal. They did that with Gaza, Israel, and now they're doing it with other countries. And there's no country that it cannot touch. The fact that Iran was negotiating with the US and they killed the negotiating leaders that they were negotiating with tells you you're dealing with mafia situations where if they see an opportunity to kill you, they will kill you. International law, legality, these are foreign concepts now. And this is going to change the whole world order because a lot of countries are looking at this and saying, hang on, there are no rules actually. Why are we adhering to these rules? We're all a threat. If we say the wrong thing that they don't like, if we do something that they don't like, we are going to be targeted. And this is going to push a lot of countries to pursue capabilities that I wish this world would not have. You're going to see more countries going for nuclear because it seems like nuclear capabilities is the only way to protect your country. They convinced Saddam to take his weapons out. And then even when he took it out, they lied that he had it, even when there was no proof at all, and they took him out. They convinced Libya to remove their mass destruction weapons, and they took him out. They convinced all those leaders to remove their weapons of mass destructions, and then they took them out. The only leaders that no one can really mess with are the leaders that have these weapons that are dangerous. And I'm afraid it's now going to push a lot of countries to pursue such weapons because they're going to see it as the only defense in this world where there is no diplomacy anymore. I want to show you how ridiculous the situation we are in. It's almost like a TV drama series where the president of the United States is tweeting some silly, stupid thing that almost is unbelievable that this is real life. It makes me think that we are in a simulation, actually. Let's go through them. First of all, Trump wrote this: we now have complete and total control of the skies over Iran. Iran had good sky trackers and other defensive equipment and plenty of it, but it doesn't compare to American-made, conceived and manufactured stuff. Nobody does it better than the good old USA. So first of all, he is admitting we are taking part in those attacks against Iran. So this situation isn't Iran versus Israel. This situation is Iran versus Israel, USA, Britain, and even Jordan, who are all defending Israel. It's not about whether this is good or bad and who should we support. We're just kind of analyzing the fact that when Iran's heading and sending their missiles, they're going through Jordan airspace, which Jordan is trying to hit, and they're going through to Israel, where there are those ships that try to lock it in and destroy the missiles from Iran. And then they're going through each of the layers of the defense system of Israel until it hits, which is insane. We never thought Iran had that capability to go across all of those systems and defense layers to hit a target in Israel. And I think that's the miscalculation that Israel did. Here's the hilarious one. We know exactly where the so-called supreme leader is hiding. It's like Star Wars. He's making it sound like Star Wars. He's an easy target, but it's safe there. We're not going to take him out, in brackets kill, because it's very confusing what take him out means. At least not for now. But we don't want missiles shot at civilians or American soldiers. Our patience is wearing thin. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So what he's saying over here is that we're going to attack you, Iran, and if you retaliate by attacking us, the US, we're going to take your supreme leader out. Which is ridiculous. When you have countries fighting, you don't kill the leaders. Especially that Iran is not even fighting the US. The US is coming and say, actually, we want to kill you now. This country of 19 million people. We're not talking about like an organization, a militant group. We're talking about a proper country, a big country with a big population. It's insane. It's really insane. And what we have over here, we have Donald Trump saying unconditional surrender. So not even, he's basically saying, we want you to surrender. We want to dictate the terms of your surrender, and we will not take anything else. There's no more concessions. There's no more anything. And what was the response of Iran? Well, Iran said they gathered everyone and did a meeting in front of everyone, in front of thousands of people, to make a speech. Look how many people. This is today. 18th of June. And in that speech, he said, any U.S. strikes will have serious, irreparable consequences. The Zionist entity committed a grave mistake and will be punished for its actions. The Iranian nation firmly resists imposed war and will also firmly resist imposed peace, which means we're not going to surrender on your own terms. This nation will never surrender to pressure. Only the intelligent know that the language of threats cannot be used with the Iranian people. Those familiar with Iran's history and people know better than to speak the language of threats. Our people will not submit to any dictates from any party whatsoever. War is met with war, bombing with bombing, and strike with strike. He's referring to the horrible Iraq-Iran war, where Iraq, with the support of the US, with the support of all the Gulf countries, attacked Iran, and for 8 years they tried to take over land from Iran, and the Iranian people resisted, and they endured so much and sacrificed so much, whereby the huge power of the US supporting Saddam with weapons and intelligence, and the Gulf states bankrolling it all, wasn't able to push the Iranians out of their land. And so we know how much they love their country, how much they can sacrifice and endure for their country. And so this war will be different to any other war in the Middle East. And I hope there will be peace and this doesn't escalate with the US involvement, although it's looking very likely that the US is going to get involved. Check this out. This is an interview just a couple days ago with Benjamin Netanyahu on Fox, where they asked him about the intel about Iran's imminent threat, and that's why they had to act.
I just want to impress you on the intel on the nuclear part. Less than 2 months ago, the new director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, testified on Capitol Hill, saying that everything had been suspended since 2003 and had not restarted, that the nuclear program had not been restarted by the Iranians. So did something change from end of March until this week? Was the U.S. intel wrong?
The intel we got and we shared with the United States was absolutely clear. Was absolutely clear that they were working in a secret plan to weaponize they were marching very quickly. They would achieve a test device and possibly an initial device within months and certainly less than a year. That was the intel we shared with the United States. I think we have excellent intel in Iran. I think they proved that. And that is something that we couldn't possibly accept. Whether it would be 6 months or 12 months or 13 months is immaterial. Once they go that still late.
So it wasn't imminent. They said it was imminent, and that's why they had to act now, and diplomacy wouldn't have worked because it was an imminent threat. What he just said is that, one, we're giving the intelligence to the U.S., and so the U.S. is acting based on the Israeli intelligence in the same way that they did for Iraq. They relied also on Israeli intelligence to show the weapons of mass destruction, which supported the war, which they couldn't find, obviously. But two, that it's within months to at least minimum a year, maximum a year. So it's not imminent. And the U.S. intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, as we said before, came a few months ago on the Senate and said that the Iran is not creating a nuclear weapon. Now, Iran has done nothing illegal, by the way. Up till now, it has done nothing illegal. It could enrich uranium to 60%. It's actually allowed within the non-proliferation treaty, right? Any other country can do that. The issue is that people are saying, why does Iran need to kind of create 60% if it's using it for civilian use? And that's a good question. That side is saying that they are using it as a bargaining chip because they didn't do 50% at all during the agreement they had with Obama in 2016, which Trump ripped apart. And after Trump ripped apart that agreement that the U.S. had with Iran and the West, they started to increase the uranium enrichment to put pressure, according to them, to put pressure on the negotiation to say, look, we can do it if we want to do it, but we're not going to do it. We want to get into a deal. And they did want to get into a deal. And they made all the concessions that the Americans wanted, obviously, other than giving up nuclear energy and power, which they want for energy and hospital purposes. So it's within their right. And it seems like the threat wasn't imminent from Bibi Netanyahu's own mouth, i.e. we could have reached into a diplomatic solution to this instead of a war that could now expedite every country to get nuclear to protect itself. The issue also is the agency that that comes and investigates and assesses the nuclear facilities, which is supposed to be an independent kind of agency that goes in. They did this with Iraq. They would go in and check the weapons and all those things to ensure that they're in line with international law and the agreements that are in place. Those agencies, it's very clear, are providing information to the CIA, to Mossad, to Western powers, because the details that they have, that they were able to just hit one by one the nuclear facilities in Iran, indicates that they've got a lot of detail that they've obtained from that independent agency. And the worry is that in the future, no one's going to trust those agencies anymore. And so a lot of countries are going to start to build their nuclear capabilities and not allow do it in secret, basically, and not allow these agencies to come and investigate anything because there's no trust anymore. As I said, there's no diplomacy, there's no international law, there's no legal agreement. The issue also with the Israeli-Iran war is showing that the BRICS nation is weak. The other countries are not really coming and putting their foot down on this. They said some words such as, Russia and China came and said there needs to be a ceasefire. We don't know what's happening in the background. I'm sure that Russia and China are providing intelligence to Iran to carry out those attacks in the same way that the U.S. is providing intelligence. But the U.S. obviously is providing more than just intelligence. It's providing bases, fuels. It's providing ships to bring down any missiles. So the U.S. is providing a lot more, even before them, seems like they're going to join the war anyways. But Russia and China, I think people expected them to do a lot more to kind of say, look, this is a red line. If you continue with this war, we are going to get involved. Maybe they're waiting for the U.S. to get involved to then get involved. And because then in that case, they'd say, look, we didn't want to get involved, but the U.S. got involved. And so we had to get involved. And by the way, Iran is showing great restraint over here. You've got so many U.S. assets, obviously, in the region that Iran can attack, but it's focusing everything it can on just Israel doesn't want to get anyone involved, even though U.S. seems like it's going to get involved. And then all hell breaks loose because Iran can then easily target so many assets once that happens. Right now, it's using these kind of ballistic missiles, which is expensive and has a limited amount of them to fire at Israel because Israel's far away. But these assets are so close, the U.S. assets in the Gulf area. Oh my days, there's so many assets that can be attacked. And you don't need expensive technology or expensive drones to do such attacks. Those attacks will continue for a very, very, very long time. They can continue very easily because they're easy. You can easily produce those drones and continue to attack. They cause disruption to the whole world because so much oil passes through the Straits of Hormuz. And so that would skyrocket oil impacts not just, putting gas in your car, but all companies need energy. And if energy prices are up, everything goes up, really. Now, what started over here as we're just going to attack the nuclear facilities in Iran became, we're going to do regime change. Because it's worked so well in Iraq and Libya and Syria and Afghanistan and Somalia. We have so much evidence of it working so well. Let's do it again. Have we learned nothing from the past couple of decades of U.S. intervention in countries? Or is the idea to destabilize countries, keep them weak, have a civil war? Is the intention to destabilize a country like Iran? Because you cannot tell me we don't know what's going to happen. We know exactly what's going to happen. We have evidence of where there's light intervention, such as in Syria and Libya, where there's no troops on the ground, there's just missiles. Look what happened. Libya, chaos. It's not even a country anymore. There's different factions holding different areas. They're selling slaves in Libya. That's how bad the situation is. In Syria, you have an ex-ISIS leader as the leader of Syria right now, after more than 500,000 civilian deaths. That's crazy. And obviously, you've got the hard interventions such as Iraq and Afghanistan, where in Afghanistan, after 20 years and spending $1 trillion in Afghanistan, the Taliban are back in power. And get this, not just back in power, with U.S. assets that the U.S. left in Afghanistan when they made that famous retreat. And of course, Iraq resulted in a civil war and democracy didn't spread to the region as was told by Bibi Netanyahu and the warmongers. And in fact, Iraq became much closer to Iran and gave Iran more power. But that was after a terrible civil war that erupted that killed hundreds of thousands in Iraq. And so you have to ask, we know what's going to happen. Whether America had the light intervention, just bombs, or has troops on the ground, It's destabilization. It's the killing of civilians. It's the destruction of a civilization. We have the evidence. We've seen it happen before. We know what's going to happen, and we're doing it again. We'd love to know your thoughts about what is happening in the Middle East right now. Where do you think this is going to head?